Hello everyone and welcome to Brooke and I's interracial tag couples.
No.
I wanna feel free like a bird in the sky. When he opened his wings to fly on by to the beat of my silent drum that is kicking me till I'm numb. Oh.
Hey everyone and welcome to Brooke and I's interracial couples tag video. We're going to be talking about our relationship and how our cultures affect it, and our backgrounds and our races and stuff. Yeah.
Basically, how we work together because he's brown and I'm white.
Basically.
Cool. Alright, so, question number 1. What are your backgrounds?
So I am, my background is fully Guyanese. Both my parents are Guyanese and grandparents are Guyanese.
I am half Armenian and half Dutch.
Alright, so question number 2. Where were you born? So Brooke, where were you born?
So I was born in Canada, technically just outside of Toronto in a region called Etobicoke.
Cool. I was born in Toronto, the heart of Toronto, Jane and Shepherd, Jane and Finch area.
Question number 2? Or continuing question
So
number
continuing
2?
question number 2, where did you grow up?
I grew up, for the first 3 years I lived in Etobicoke, and then we moved to where we live now, which is in the northern part of the GTA.
I grew up at Jane and Finch. Basically, Jane Street is where I lived, connections. Shout out to all my people over there. And then we moved to Mississauga when I was a teenager, and then I moved to Brampton as an adult, and that's where I currently reside.
Question number 3. What languages do you speak or understand?
So I speak and understand English, but also broken English, I would say, is like, it's sort of like,
a thing.
it's not really a language, but it's a dialect, right? Like, okay.
Yeah, but I can understand broken English too then.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Do you understand what my family is saying half the time?
Yes!
That's all it is. It's
When I'm at
English.
your mom's place, I never understand what
You see, and she just said she understands broken English. Like, come on, guys.
Okay, let's talk about me. So, I speak and understand English, and I also know a little bit of American Sign Language. Not as much as I'd like, but I am learning very, very slowly.
Question number 4. Is this your first time dating outside of your race?
For me, yes. I have only dated white guys up until this beauty over here. So yeah, for me it's a yes.
For me, it is not. I've dated several people outside of my race. In fact, most people that I've dated have been outside of my race.
Question number 5. What has been the most challenging thing about dating interracially?
For the most part, we personally don't have that much of an issue. I think we get along really well, because I'm pretty, how you say it, like westernized or whatever. I mean, I'm born and raised in Canada, so I'm Canadian, right? Like, of course, Guyanese is my culture and my background, and I love the food and I love the culture, but I wouldn't really consider myself to be like a lot of people from Guyana, and so we don't have that culture clash in our relationship that maybe somebody who just came from Guyana would be having, for example. But I also think, not necessarily a challenging thing, but an interesting thing has been, for you, like some of your like family members and friends and stuff who don't really know any Guyanese people or anything of that nature, and who are starting to learn about the culture and about what Guyanese people are like because of me.
That's true.
And I don't really think it's been I wouldn't say it has been challenging. I think it's been like really interesting and a welcoming experience.
Yeah, it's been new. I'd say for me it's on kind of like a personal level. I think that this goes for girls more than guys, but girls seem to have this kind of fantasy about what their future spouse is going to look like. And I honestly never pictured myself with someone who wasn't white, and he knows this and he's fine with it because he knows that I'm obsessed with him now. But I never saw it that way, but I was always open to it, of course. Just when I pictured my future, it wasn't very colorful, right? So,
I mean, that's putting it nicely. It was probably some, very tall, pasty white person.
Named Mark.
Named Mark.
Yeah, and he was blonde.
And
So it took for me some time getting used to, because you not necessarily second guess yourself, but you are asking yourself lots of questions like, am I comfortable with this, and is this something that I want? And of course the answer was yes, but the idea of getting used to something new for me was a bit of a challenge. But once I got past it, like, I'm crazy about you, so it wasn't hard at all. So that would be for me.
I think you just kind of have to be open to it. Really. Yeah. Like if you have to be open to learning about not only about this person, but about sort of their culture, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because every culture is different, and just being willing to try their foods, for example, or experience experience what their like celebrations are like. It's different for every culture, right? So question number 6: how did your family and friends feel about your choice in partner?
It took my side a bit longer to get used to it. That could be because I had never been with anybody who wasn't white. So I think my family is accepting of it, and they're not like he didn't walk through the door and they were like, yeah, brown guy, but they weren't like kicking him out of the house. It just took for them as well some time to get used to it. And I think with my family, not the problem, but their concerns are just how is this relationship going to be received by other people. And luckily, we're very blessed to live in Canada, where this type of relationship is supported and celebrated more so than in other places around the world. So that definitely helps. But yeah, it just took my family some time to get used to it. My friends as well, they liked you from the start because they knew that I cared about you, and they knew that you were a great guy. And with your friends, that's usually all you care about, right? As long as the guy's going to treat her right, you love him. So my friends they think he's fantastic.
I think for me, my family and friends were very accepting and welcoming. I think I've been lucky because even though I am a first generation Canadian, I have some older family members who were second generation and who married out of their race. So my family is accustomed and used to now having other people, not Guyanese people, in the family. And so it's something we're used to, and really all they care about is, and same thing with my friends, all they care about is someone who makes you happy cook. And
no, I can't cook.
Who makes you happy, who treats you right and treats you with love and respect, just the way you deserve to be treated. And the first thing that I told my friends about Brooke when I told them that I was dating her was that I've never really been with somebody who's treated me the way she's treated me, with like so much just love and care and respect. And that's all they really want to know. That's all they really want you to have, as long as you're happy and you have somebody who treats you right. And I was really happy that I found her.
All right. Question number 7. How did your race affect your upbringing?
I think I grew up in Toronto, and Toronto's a very diverse and multicultural city, which I'm very blessed to have. But even so, growing up, I was one of the few brown people in the area that I grew up in, and so I was always kind of I always stood out a little bit because of that, and I guess like getting into high school, for example, there were like 6 Brandons, and so automatically I was known as the brown Brandon because I was the only brown Brandon, But I don't think I've ever been, dealt with any sort of racial tension in terms of like my school upbringing. Like outside of that, sure, like from time to time there's issues with like random people, but for the most part, like this is, I say a lot of good things about Toronto. Of course, different people have different experiences, but I'm really lucky that I've been raised in Toronto, and people have been so welcoming and opening, and just they accept me as a Canadian as they are themselves.
For me, I'm gonna say that my race didn't affect my upbringing, but that's because I wasn't conscious about it. I'm white and I live in a nice area, so it just was never, race was never a thing, politics were never a thing. My family didn't talk about it. They don't need to, right? So it wasn't really that I became conscious about the politics of race until I was older, but then especially once I started dating him. So it didn't affect my upbringing, right? I was just in my own little bubble, which will say is the negative side to it, right? You grow up privileged and you don't really have to think about that stuff. So I'm not saying that it's a good thing. Like, it actually is kind of an unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
But that is what it is. I just didn't start thinking about race at all, or what my part was in all of this until I had to, right?
Mm.
And I guess when you are of color or of a different race, you have to start thinking about it a lot younger. So
yeah,
that's...
I mean, I guess I don't know exactly when it happens, but I'm sure there's a point in maybe kindergarten or something where it's delineated between the kids as, or you know, some teacher says something or whatever the case may be, where you realize that you're different because of your skin color, and depending where you are and who you're with, it could either be treated as a good thing or it can be treated as a bad thing. You know, luckily for me, it was never really treated as a bad thing, so I'm thankful for that. Hello everyone, and that's part 1 of our Interracial Couples tag. We hope you enjoyed it. The video ended up being a lot longer than we had originally anticipated. So to make up for that, we decided to split it into 2 parts. The first part coming out today, and the second part coming out next Friday. That's right, we usually release every other Friday, but to give you guys a special treat, the second part of this video is going to be up next Friday.
So you've got 1 week, so make sure that you are subscribed.
Yes.
If you like this video, make sure that you give it a like. And if you have any prayer requests or needs, drop them in the comments and we will reply to you.
Have a good week.
Thanks
God
for
bless.
watching. Oh my gosh. Messed up the end.